Hello and welcome to Shanghai. It's here today in the Formula Student Grand Prix round 5 here in this Chinese Grand Prix. As we now go onto the grid, let me run down. Nico up in last place with a 1 minute 11 lap time, and Lex Nogueira right up ahead in P15. Up in P14 we have Ashley Vandersheim, P13 Menno Blomberger, P12 Frank Dapper. Up ahead we have Xandro Giglov, in P10 we have Antonio Correa, and in P9 Mattias Patarozzi. Up in P8 you got the Italian Luca Panebianco, and in P7 we got Cadillac Crafter. Up in P6 we have Brandon Pierce, and P5 Laszlo Sabo. In P4 we have Lozzi and Elias Hogue finishing the second row. And up in the first row we have Jason Manoff in second and Goose van der Dodeman in P1.
As you see the cars lined up on the grid, waiting for the start lines, the engines are gonna start roaring and we are ready for this Shanghai Grand Prix for Formula students. It's gonna be a great race. I think Foxy also is looking forward to it, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are looking forward to it as well. As we hear the engines roar for this Grand Prix. And it's go, go, go! Pedal to the metal! As his car start, drive. Oh, with Gus van Doornmal having a good start. Milanov close, Lozzi. No, that's Hoke trying to get that second place from Milanov. No, he does not get it. Milanov onto second position. Gus van Doornmal still first. Lozzi close by, trying to make a move.
Great start from Dodeman, and they're running away with the lead. Milanov in P2. Hoke and Lozzi fighting there, but we see in the back a lot of cars bunched up, going even 4 wide into turn 1. I believe there's for P11 with Correa and Sam side by side there into the second sector. There's been an incident in the back between 4 cars facing the wrong way in turn 8, 9 and 10. Difficult sector there, obviously the end of sector 2. And now onto the back straight we see Lozzi and Hoke fighting it here. Really close.
As he go down the inside, side by side, with a little bit of contact. Lozzi going wide. And Hawk claiming that position, I think.
The other way round.
And that's no, it's Hawk.
Lozzi taking third place off Hawk.
Indeed, a bit of confusion with the timing table. Now again going for the third place. Remember, he got a podium last race. I think he wants a podium this race as well. Panabianco also having a great start from 8th position, now up to 5th. Oh, as we see contact with Brandon Pierce. And a lot of other cars, and Brandon Pierce spinning again. Oh, disappointing. Him starting 6th, now in 14th, and it might even become 15th position. Oh, that's really sad for him. He was doing a great race.
Cadillac Crafter goes from P7 down to P15 with that first lap incident, facing the wrong way and then facing again the wrong way out of turn 1 and 2 of that end. As here's still the battle for P3 still raging on. Hoke and Lozzi being the 2 title, not fighting for title, but on the championship battle for P3 as Lozzi and Hoke keep trading that third place position. Starting from Bahrain, then to Saudi Arabia, switching, and then last race in Suzuka, Lozzi getting that pole position just as the car flying across the track. I believe there was just some internet issues as now for P5, Laszlo Sabo having not the greatest race in Suzuka, having that incident. Now fighting for P5 with Panebianco having also a great start from there.
Yeah, indeed, Panebianco. This is a great, if he can keep Sabo behind, that's going to be a great result. It's only 24 laps, you do have to defend quite a lot. Especially on that long straight, as we saw last lap as well. Lozzi getting past Elias Hoke. Now we're gonna see, is he close enough? Is that gap coming down? I don't think he's close enough. The straight is not that long, but it might be. Slight mistake in the hairpin. It's not an easy hairpin. It's tight. You don't have a lot of steering luck. And Sabo is closer now. Only 0.4 of a second. As you come into the first hairpin, taking a little bit of a different line and going close. Panebianco having a slight issue, slight mistake as well, and I think that's going to be the first point for Pane Bianco as well, so everything on the game. Great run from Sabo around the SS. Just not getting it. Pane Bianco, slight mistake. But, oh, as we see a back marker getting in the way, and that opens the door again for Sabo. And now we go the corner before this long straight. Sabo wanting to get a great exit. He is close, he's up that rear ring. Sabo going defensive, weaving a little bit. Which way is Sabo gonna go? He's gonna go the outside. Pane Bianco defending. Who's gonna be the latest on the break? It's going to be Pane Bianco, but that opens the door for the switchback. But great defending. Oh! As Sabo goes on the inside! They're side by side again. Slight mistake from Pane Bianco, I think. And again, contact. Sabo around the outside. Pane Bianco keeping that inside line. Is he going to pass? No! And they touch! Oh no! And Sabo still not getting in front. Pane Bianco putting everything on the line here. Again, going defensively. Sabo, trying to get a better exit. It didn't work out. Again, having that inside line. And I think that's the move done for Sabo.
Yeah, these two are fighting it out with all the elbows power, trading paint, going down the main straight and also into turn 1. I believe there's been also some hot-headedness from the final corner dive bomb from Sabo, but still not getting a position even with that paint trading. As here's the battle for 9th, for 8th, I'm sorry, between Jiglov, Crafter and Pierce. Cadillac Crafter having had a bad start and pushing his way back up the grid from P9. There's a great run from Pierce out of turn 11 onto the back straight. Is he gonna have a look? Turn 13, I believe. Now into turn 14 as Cadillac Crafter misses his breaking point and hits Jiglov. And Pierce says thank you very much and goes by down the inside on turn 14 and 15. Great racing from these guys, but the battle is still not over as Cadillac Crafter still has that pace advantage and that slipstream effect on these huge rear-wing cars, and just a grip and everything. Turn 1 and 2 being nice and tidy. Turn 3 now and turn 4. Cadillac Crafter staying on that rear wing, just seeing those exhaust fumes coming into his face. As now we're riding on this back on board. It's nice and tidy as a bit of going white on the S's. Turn 8. Now turn 9, and then an incident! Cadillac Crafter hitting Jiglov. That's not what you want, but Cadillac Crafter carrying on. And Jiglov facing the wrong wave. That's Correa and Dapper also getting their position done. And Brandon Pierce running away as well. As as now Saab and Pane Bianco are still fighting for their 5th place. Going really close into turn 1. Round the outside, this is maybe the better line. Pane Bianco defending that inside line. Now turn 2 and 3. All facing the right directions. Oh, what you want? Who gets early on the accelerator? Now who goes late on the brakes? Hey, looking down the inside Sabo. But Pane Bianco defending great.
Oh yeah, indeed. He tried to look down the inside. He wasn't latest on the brakes. Pane Bianco really closing of that gap. And then, yeah, a bit disappointing from Crafter. Killing his the other racer, and that also killed the battle. Great move from Brandon Pierce. Oh, up to 8th position from 14th, so that he made quite a lot of moves already. As you see again on that back straight, Sabo only 4 tenths. It is close. Pane Bianco going defensively as again, and going a little bit wide out of the hairpin. That might give Sabo a bit of that might make Sabo getting a little closer as they go side by side again around the outside. Again, a little bit of contact. And I think Sabo going wide, but he goes into 4th position. I think into 5th position. Sorry. Well, but is that track limits, Foxy? Does he need to give
I believe track limits do play a huge role here, but Sabo and Pane Bianco trading paint, and as Pane Bianco just goes into the wall in the S's. That's something you don't want to have. There's a lot of damage on it. Patarozzi also now flying by. We see the car that has been some internet issue is Patarozzi up in P6, but keeping it on the race is fine as Dodemalin just confidently driving in P1. There's great practice between car and driver. There's the connection between these two, as Milanov is 3.5 seconds behind. This is again going to be a great first place on Dodomanes, and Suzuka, that mistake with Milanov, where Milanov went wide and turn one S. Oh, that's blown back, a dangerous rejoin. Well, the stewards have to look at that one. Milanov getting a chance at catching out a tire now, losing 1 second. Dodoman must not be happy, getting a lot of damage on a huge front wing as well. Any chassis damage on this car is not what you want Milanov catching. But Dodoman still look like he has that confidence in him, and he can drive. And now that the gaps have opened up a little, being 10 laps in of this race is just something I see that the concentration cannot fall, as these corners just take you out if you take them wrong, as you see from Pane Bianco losing the rear out of turn 7. Something you have to look out for. The setups playing a huge role, and you gotta see how the drivers just handle all of these corners.
Yeah, exactly. The concentration can be lost. It's also half time of the race, almost in 2 laps. We're at the halfway mark, and now Hawk just losing a little bit to Lozzi for that 3rd place. Lozzi again going really good, but yeah, really disappointing for Pane Bianco. I think he has some damage as well. We have to see if Van Doornmalen has some damage. We're gonna see that in the pit stop probably. I don't think he has. He's still driving on pace. I don't think he will repair the damage if he's driving faster than Milanov at the moment. I think that's some of that Dutch blood that and just giving a bit of the upper edge today, as Max Verstappen also won the Formula 1 Grand Prix. Sorry for the spoilers if you haven't seen it yet.
As I believe Doornmalen's pace has not dropped after that incident, as there's also a bit of back markers going here. I believe that's no greater fighting Pane Bianco there. He tried to have a bit of on-track battle, as the cars you have spread out a little. Now it's a battle of their own. You gotta see just how the concentration just has all the upper hand. The gaps just staying the same now. I haven't seen the gaps closing down unless the battle between third also has finished, as Hoke's pace is just not up there today with Lozzi keeping that 3rd place. Crafter here having also a great race, not at the start having a bad incident, but then catching back up to P9. Patarozzi having still issues with that internet, so we're gonna see how that translates over to the race, as if a car gets close and he starts having some alien activity, you gotta see how the other driver handles that problem. The closest battle on track obviously being for P13 Jiglov and O'Grada, and P3 Lozzi and Hoke. As Pane Bianco and Crafter has, I think Pane Bianco has made a mistake, as Crafter has catched to under a second now. They're really close by. You see them now going to the back straight.
Oh yeah, that's this is going to be interesting to see Pane Bianco not having the pace today, but having a really good start. So I think he wants to keep him behind, but Crafter really close. Pane Bianco taking a little bit of weird lines, not trying to get on that curb. Maybe he doesn't feel that comfortable in this car. I don't think he is that comfortable on race pace. Trying to push, and I see Crafter going really close. They're almost side by side. What will he do? Inside, outside? He tries to go on the inside, a little bit of contact, and he is passed. But it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Pane Bianco going back at it. I think Crafter giving back the place after touching him. Good racecraft from him. But now again, coming back up to that long straight. He did look a little bit to that inside. He knows, Pane Bianco knows that Crafter is there. Crafter knows that long straight is coming. He knows what that car can do. He knows where he made some mistakes. He knows where he's faster.
You just gotta see as no hits Jiglov hits Crafter. That's something Crafter is not really happy about. We saw Jiglov giving the position back at the end of sector 2 between turn 10 and 11 after staying up ahead on this pack, and I believe their safety car is not driving out. There's seen some issues, and Crafter having now rear wing damage. Obviously a huge wing playing a big role, and turn 7 and 8 being the most rear corners where you don't want to have that damage, and Kelly Crofter's pace was up there today. He catched to Pane Bianca, and what we saw as well was the difference in just the different lines that they've been taking. It's interesting to see how different each driver practiced their race, as Pierce is catching to Patarozzi, who's having those internet issues. Brendan Pierce having a great race, seeing just a car up ahead drifting off and everywhere. So if you catch a car, you have to calculate where the car is. I believe the hitboxes will not be there where the picture of the car is, as he disappeared for a second. It was just a bit of lag issue. So when we see that car off, we must think that it's internet, as Hoke is losing out to Lozzi. This battle here, for the first time this season, these two are not as close as it was.
Yeah, maybe some issues with Hoke's car. It's possible that he has not the confidence on this track, with it being quite narrow, quite a lot of hairpins. We saw in Suzuka he only had that one hairpin essentially, and also having a bit of internet issues. As Lozzi goes in the pits, maybe trying to keep his position, knowing that Lozzi is close. As Lozzi getting held up by the back markers. I think that's why Lozzi went into the pit lane, to not have the back markers that close behind. But he's going to have to clear them at some point.
Now that the pit stops, now the pit stop battle is going on, as we saw in Suzuka the undercut being very strong with these cars and these tracks. Lozzi having taken the undercut to Hoke. Obviously the battle for first is still not over, even though it's a 5-second gap. That's really big in compared to this GPK track. But we saw that in Suzuka, for example, that undercut has gained you a second, or for the second driver has lost you a second. So we're gonna see just how this ends, as Sabo and Patarozzi are not even half a second separated for P5. This battle also raging on. We gotta see just how Sabo interacts with Patarozzi's internet issues with his car going all over the place. It's now side by side, I believe they are, into the final sector. If the camera will ever change, there's a safety car now, is on track. Patarozzi and Sabo. Patarozzi and Sabo. Sabo getting the position down on Patarozzi. We haven't seen it, sadly, but they're still switching positions. Patarozzi is now in the pit lane, going for that undercut. So that battle also we're gonna watch out for. And Lozzi here having quite a relaxed race now that he's changed tires. Hoke, I guess, has pitted and lost to time, as I said, that undercut costing you a lot of time, and Lozzi gaining that 2 seconds, that only being 1.6 seconds, now being 2 seconds. So under these pit stop battles now, as Dora Malinor, race leader, goes into the pits and now comes out.
Only 4 seconds behind Milanov. Yeah, he's going to clear that. Almost a perfect drive from Kuz. No mistakes. Could have been a glam slam if he pitted behind Milanov. But yeah, he doesn't make a mistake. He has insane pace, as we saw. I think before the pit stop he was already 7 seconds in front of Milanov, and that's only on 17 laps. It's insane, this driver. I think he wants to win his, maybe that's his 3rd championship that he can win right now. Milanov being in 1st place now, but obviously not when he comes in.
Obviously now we have ex-world champion versus reigning world champion here. This season is going crazy, something we like to see in championships like this, where the battle for first is always as open as this, with Milanov having advantage on one track, but Dora Malin showing that he has pace on another track. And I believe this track is just something where Goose Dora feels at home. The car is just driving itself at this point, with Dora Malin just being a passenger. Just your mind being one of the machine, as the battles here on Shanghai just raging on, as the battle for 6th now. Pane Bianco has lost out a little on that pit stop, as Brendan Pierce being right behind Pane Bianco. We saw before a few laps ago that Pane Bianco having issues through turn 7 and 8. Brendan Pierce catching all that mistakes as Pane Bianco jumps in the pit lane. Late stop from him, as the pit stops window was from lap 15 on. and we're nearing the end of the race, and now what can switch up the grid is just the back markers. So we're gonna see who plays their cards correctly with the back markers and gains all the time that they want.
Yeah, indeed, you can't take too much risk because sometimes backmarkers are a bit unpredictable. As we saw last race as well, there is a bit of field spread, faster drivings, edging their competitors. But then again, last race we also saw some huge action with those back markers. Indeed, with Milanov getting hit into the wall, Lozzy coming really close to Hoke again through that. Oh, as Lozzy and Hoke are really close together again. I think Lozzy made a spin because Hoke is now in third place. Lozzy was in third, now not anymore. So
Yeah,
it's speaking of the devil. We talked about drivers making mistakes, and now Lozzy is again in fourth place.
Lozzy here has to take his pace advantage, and we saw this race being with 2 seconds up the road, and now you said with the spins and obviously also the back markers playing a huge role. Something at the end of the race that you don't really want to have is the later you do your mistake, the less time you have to fix your mistake. Luckily, Lozzy not having lost too much time as he's right on Hoke's rear end. And talking about back marker mistake, we saw in Saudi Arabia, Dodeman's spin cost from a back marker where he lost all the positions, only being able to go up to P4 again. So this is interesting to see just how the drivers handle their cars now that the tires are also starting to go back to the starting to see the end again. This being the end of the starting to be going to the end of the race. 4 laps to go. We're gonna see who keeps the tires better in the better window, who has the pace advantage. As Hoke looks like he's greater in defending than has in the pace. Lozzy not being able to attack where he wants to and getting that position.
Yeah, indeed, it's those drivers really close. Lozzy having a 100% podium streak right now, and I think he wants to keep that this way. He is close. It's only 3 laps. We know he has a little bit of pace advantage. We know this track. You can't make overtakes on those long straights. As you see now, he is close. He is closer. He's only 6 tenths right now. Hope will be starting to look in these mirrors. Only 3 laps to go.
Yeah, the battles also in the midfield are still raging on between Pane Bianco, Patarozzi having Pierce obviously going past. There's been an incident. There's a contact between Lozzy and Hoke. Lozzy getting impatient here as the race comes to an end. Obviously, that position you want to get the position as done as soon as possible. So if anything happens, you can still run away. Hoke feeling the pressure. They're losing the rear out of turn 6. Obviously, turn 6 being quite the hairpin. And you can't really lose as much time on the exit, as that's gonna be the speed for 7 and 8. And now going around turn 11, let's see who takes turn 12 and 13 also better, as Lozzy has the greatest corner speed, and Hoke just defending greatly, going for the defending the inside line, as Lozzy just right on them. But you see the slipstream effect kicking. Lozzy going round the outside turn 14, looking for that switchback move. Elias going defensive there immediately. Again, maybe the switchback move for the final corner, turn 16. Nearly side by side into turn 1. Who's gonna be brave on the brakes? Hoke being brave on the brakes, but Lozzy maybe again for the switchback move. Lozzy's only hope at the switchback. There's contact again between these two drivers. Lozzy now side by side turn 4. Going down to turn 5 here now. Turn 6, who's brave on the brakes? It's Hoke. Brave on the brakes and getting back his position. This is great racing from these two.
Yeah, Lozzy trying to get the switchback didn't work out. A little bit
No!
and he spins! Oh, mistake from Lozzy, and that's, I think, that the podium secured for Hoke. Just a little bit on the cross and going wide. I think he tried to take a little bit of different lines than Hoke, but it didn't work out. A spin, disappointing. And Hoke will say thank you very much. I'll take that podium place any day of the week. As Dodeman now almost 9 seconds in front of everybody in the penultimate lap. Milanov again, good race. He didn't have the pace completely. And then again, Szabo having a good race. He's gonna be happy with that 5th place. Last race he was 8th, now 5th. right behind the top driver essentially. Brendan Pierce again having a really good race, having been fallen back to 14th position, so now being back in 6th. Bianco 8th. It's a bit disappointing after having driven 5th, but then again, it's his first points of the season. Driving in 7th, that's not bad. As you now see, Guus van Doormalen going into the final lap, he has been perfect. I can't say anything else. He has been on edge the whole race as he's coming closer to some back markers, to Nogueira in 13th place, who lets him by. Perfect race. Again, I think he now switches over the championship as well. Sliding a car around, he knows this car, he knows this track. He is almost at the back straight, almost 10 seconds ahead of Milanov. Perfect race. It's almost a Grand Slam if you didn't pit in front, but it's going to be maximum points here in Shanghai. He's coming up to the hairpin, only 2 corners to go for him.
Into the final corner he goes now. Yes, going final corner. It was a great race from Van Doormalen, going across the line and winning the Shanghai Grand Prix. 2 races back to back for the win, as Jason Doormalen has a bit of issues with the back markers, going now final corner and crossing the line now for P2.
Indeed, and now Hoke is probably coming around the final straight to claim his 3rd place, his podium. That was a great race, holding off Lassi twice this race, and then again in that in those final corners, holding off the pressure, and Lassi making a mistake to have a podium finish, his 2nd one of the season. Lassi finishing in 4th. Maybe he's going to be disappointed a little bit, but that's still a great result. Now see Tabo going around the final corner, being really happy with that 5th place. Not usually his place. And Brendan Pierce, great race, great overtaking, straight on it. He didn't make any mistakes all race, apart from collisions with some back markers. Bianco having a great start, but also a great race. 7th place for him, he will be happy.
As this was the race here around Shanghai, thank you so much, and Niels will run you through the grid and the championship points now.
As you see the race results, Guus van Doormalen, after a great race, finished in P1, with Jason Milanov close behind, not losing a lot of points for the championship. Elias Hoke winning the battle to Lassi to claim 3rd place, and then Tabo being 5th, Brendan Pierce right after him in 6th position. Bianco, great race in 7th place, and Crafter also having a good place after starting 11th. Paratarozzi in 9th position, claiming 2 points, and that's, I think, also his first points in this championship, with then Anton Correa being the last of the point scorers. Frank Dapper in 11th place, just outside the top 10. Bloembergen in 12th, Nogueira in 13th, Ashley van der Zalm in 14th, and then Jiglov and Nico being out of the race in 15th and 16th position. And in the championship standings, Guus van Doormalen overtakes Milanov for 1st position. Lassi still being comfortably ahead of Elias Hoke in that battle for 3rd place. Brendan Pierce in 5th, really solid. Niemi wasn't in this race, but he's still in 6th position. Tabo, after a good race, this jumps up to 7th position. Correa is in 8th. Gustavas Bettings in 9th, and then Rosado and Neighbor are equal on points on 10th position.
As this was our Shanghai Grand Prix, I hope you enjoyed it and I can't wait to see you in Miami. Goodbye.